Rachel Zegler just had a really bad day on the set of a play called Evita, and honestly, nobody expected this to happen. The 23-year-old actress, who went from being a regular teenager to winning a big award called a Golden Globe, supposedly fell down while filming one of the hardest singing roles in theater. And let's be honest, people were already talking about how Rachel was looking for someone to talk to about her feelings after the Snow White movie didn't do well. So what really happened when they were making the movie? Now when Rachel performs on stage, she gives everything she has. Her voice is so strong it fills the whole room, and her body shakes because she's working so hard to be the character. Her voice is amazing and powerful. But then something changed. The show that started with so much energy ended with Rachel walking away from the set crying. On the last day of filming Snow White, she completely broke down and left the scene. What could have gone so wrong, and who's really causing all this trouble?
You what we do, and he did movies, but I love it so much because I get to see you guys. And I'm really, really thankful that so many of you have been with us for 3 summers, and if you were here for 2, or just that for each one, you're part of such an important family to me, and this has been such a hard, wonderful journey, and I'm so thankful to have been on with you all. So thank you.
Now listen, people are talking quietly about how stressed she is. The never-ending pressure to be perfect all the time. The heavy weight of people on the internet constantly saying mean things about her everywhere she goes. Now imagine feeling like everyone in the whole world is watching everything you do, just waiting for you to mess up. That's the kind of pressure Rachel Zegler has been dealing with for months. Let's take a look as she talks about her really bad audition experience.
You have a terrible audition experience.
I do have a terrible audition experience. I was actually, oddly enough, auditioning for a Broadway show of a very famous Broadway musical that was having a revival, and the producers and directors were ordering lunch while I was singing.
What?
It was so horrible.
Literally while you were
Yeah.
singing, so.
Yeah. I booked West Side Story a week later.
But here's where it gets real. This breakdown wasn't just about one bad day. It's been building up for months, and the reasons might really surprise you. The Hollywood blacklist. Is it a conspiracy or is it real? To many people, Rachel Zegler was supposed to be the future of movies with singing. Steven Spielberg found her. She became famous overnight with West Side Story. But just a few years later, things feel different. What happened? Was it the role she picked, or was it her political comments that led to her downfall? Ever since Rachel said bold things during the Snow White press tour, calling old princess stories outdated and questioning how the movie industry works, she's faced a wave of mean comments from the media. And I know you already know that, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. So the question that comes up is she being punished for her political remarks, or is it really that Hollywood is getting too political these days?
It's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness exists, so can other things, and I will be okay.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the loop in people. People still line up. Still can only hope that despite my flaws, despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them,
She's a great actress.
that at every premiere, everything I do, people will wait in line.
Now, we all saw those Hollywood writers doing protests last year against the Actors Union, and Zegler was also part of these protests, and she was not afraid to speak up about problems like unfair pay and not having enough different types of people in Hollywood. But that honesty has made her a target. Let's take a look.
Never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me.
Now, women in the movie industry face a really unfair double standard. Speak up, and they're called difficult. Stay quiet, and they're called too passive. For women of color, it's even harder. When Christian Bale loses his temper, people call it good acting. One tweet that's been seen over 200,000 times says, "What exactly did she do wrong that got people hating and sending her death threats?" Why are female celebrities of color always negatively tagged when they speak up? Now check out the viral video of Zegler defending her Snow White remake. Then scroll through the comments. Is it fair criticism, or is it just gendered hate? One tweet that's been seen over 4 million times says, "You wanted authenticity. She gave it to you." and now you're punishing her for not being fake enough for your red carpet. Then came her London play flop. Let's be real, this theater flop isn't just a bad night at work. It's Hollywood's wake-up call wrapped in empty seats and silence. Rachel Zegler has officially become the warning story nobody asked for, but everyone's watching. Movie studios literally threw everything at her after West Side Story, treating her like the chosen one of Disney's next generation. But here's the thing, the audience never got the message. And now, with Snow White bombing harder than a middle school science project and theater tickets collecting dust like forgotten mixtapes, the message couldn't be clearer. Fans want real stories, not lectures.
Sounds like you're one of the only ones there, just like Rachel Zegler, as it turns out, and we part with this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself. One of the most unlikable humans.
That is sadder than when the original Snow White eats the ass.
In theater, bro, theater doesn't lie. You can't Photoshop a crowd. You can't use computer effects to make enthusiasm. When nobody shows up, you're literally performing to ghosts. It's honestly crazy how the same industry that sells out Hamilton faster than concert merchandise can't fill half the seats for Rachel's Evita. We're talking about the London Palladium here minus 2,286 seats of really good real estate. This isn't some crummy community theater, but night after night, tumbleweeds. Now here's where it gets spicy. They claimed $4 million in advance sales before announcing Rachel's casting. So if that's real, why are front row seats still available like Black Friday leftovers? Reddit's already tearing this apart, calling it fake publicity designed to create hype. Because here's the brutal truth. Movies can fake success with creative math and opening weekend tricks. But live theater? You either pack the house or you don't. Rachel can't pull some premiere stunt where paid extras pretend to be super fans. This is raw, unfiltered reality check time. What's even crazier is that Hollywood's still pushing her like they're doubling down on a losing poker hand. Executives are acting like if they just shove Rachel into enough projects, we'll all suddenly have a moment of clarity and crown her our new queen. Spoiler alert, that's not how fandom works, Chief. Hollywood's got this nasty habit of trying to force-feed us the next big thing before we're even hungry. Remember when they tried to make Sam Worthington happen? Or Jai Courtney, the action hero we never asked for? Massive budgets, major roles, zero audience connection. You can't manufacture star power in a boardroom meeting, but Rachel's situation hits different because her theater debut came right after the Snow White meltdown, like walking a tightrope in high heels during an earthquake. Sure, her Romeo and Juliet run supposedly made money, but that was before she became the poster child for Hollywood controversy. So when fans see Rachel Zegler on a sign now, they're not thinking star power. They're thinking, oh great, another lecture disguised as entertainment. And honestly, Rachel might have great singing ability, she might have range, but this isn't about talent anymore. It's about whether anyone's still willing to listen. Live performance is the ultimate truth serum. No second takes, no editing magic. If the audience doesn't vibe, you feel every second of that silence. Now listen, this isn't some cancel culture witch hunt or me calling Rachel evil. But we can't pretend her image hasn't been shaped more by her interviews than her actual performances. That condescending, preachy energy she brings to press tours, yeah, audiences remember that stuff. A TikTok fan recently shared her real-life encounter with Rachel, and let's just say it wasn't the warm, authentic moment anyone hoped for. Cold vibes all around.
Amelia Salado?
Mulatto.
So I actually met Rachel Zegler in New York after her Broadway show performing Romeo and Juliet, and let me just say I have a couple opinions on her after meeting her in person. First, I will say I completely understand how people took what she said about Snow White and how she promoted that and just took it negatively, because I did too. Like, I genuinely did not like the way that she was talking about her character and stuff, but I have to say that in person, oh my god, she is so sweet. And not only that, she is ridiculously talented. Like, in that show, her singing actually blew me away. I've never heard anyone sing that well in person. I can't explain it. It was just amazing. I know there are some found clips on TikTok where people secretly record the show. I highly recommend you guys go watch that because her riffs were insane and she only had like one singing part, but that was my favorite part of the entire show. She is genuinely really talented and a nice person. I just think that the way that she talks and the way that she presents herself to the camera does not always bode well with people. But that doesn't make her a bad person. And so yeah, that's my unpopular opinion on her.
Meanwhile, the media is still trying to sell us on Golden Globe winner Rachel Zegler, Hollywood's rising star. But honestly, this feels like old-school publicity trying to polish a reputation that's already cracked. Her Hunger Games appearance was fine, but let's be real, that franchise could star a cardboard cutout and still make money. The Hunger Games brand sold those tickets, not Rachel Zegler. And here's where it gets really messy. Hollywood's backing her like they got money on the table they can't afford to lose. Because admitting she was wrong for Snow White means admitting the executives who vouched for her made a mistake. People like Spielberg, who allegedly pushed for her casting, have gone completely quiet since the flop. Almost like they're hoping this all just disappears.
More to do with Gal Gadot calling out Rachel Zegler and putting her in the hot seat, as well as Disney when bringing up the production issues, Snow White. Now, Gal delivered the following: the most important thing when you are working on a film is teamwork, and when you have characters like the Evil Queen and Snow White, you expect teamwork to play a role in the creative process when you are trying to put something special together. We didn't really have teamwork, and there were many setbacks that we had to deal with during this entire process, and I just found that to be very exhausting. When you are acting, you expect your co-stars and the creatives to go all the way and to support each other, and we just didn't meet those expectations.
Word on the street is that even Gal Gadot, her Snow White co-star, has been privately complaining about the behind-the-scenes chaos. She hasn't dropped names, but come on, who else could it be? And that's the real problem here. Rachel might have the voice and might have the look, but what she's missing is that basic Hollywood truth. You have to connect with people. You have to earn their trust. You can't just show up swinging at beloved classics, calling fan favorites weird, and expect loyalty in return. That's why her stardom feels manufactured, forced down our throats instead of earned through genuine connection. The worst part? She's dragging everyone else down with her. Every cast member and every crew worker who poured their soul into Snow White is now watching their project get labeled a disaster, all because of one person's attitude problem. So studios are quietly hitting the brakes, not with dramatic announcements, but with Hollywood's favorite move, the slow fade. One day you're headlining Disney remakes, and the next you're nowhere to be found on future project lists. Rachel might still show up at award shows and press events, but don't be fooled. The star-making machine just shifted into neutral. So Rachel Zegler's career isn't dead, but it's definitely on life support. Not because she can't sing or act, but because she forgot the most important rule in entertainment. The audience picks the winners, not the executives, not the headlines, the fans. Hollywood tried to crown her the next big thing, gave her the trophies, the roles, and the red carpet treatment, but they skipped the part where she actually had to win people over. And now we're watching the consequences play out in real time: empty theater seats, box office bombs, and comment sections that tell the real story. Look, we're not rooting against talent here. But if Rachel doesn't learn from this breakdown, someone else will come along who actually gets it. Someone who respects the fans, embraces the craft, and lets the story speak louder than the politics.